Ladies and gentlemen, in an unprecedented move that has set the NFL world on fire, the Dallas Cowboys have made a trade that could alter the landscape of the league for years to come. The Cowboys, a franchise that has been built around Dak Prescott for almost a decade, have sent their longtime quarterback to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for none other than the future Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers. This monumental trade isn't just about the swapping of quarterbacks, it's a shift in philosophy, a desperate attempt by Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office to push all their chips to the center of the table and go for a Super Bowl now. It's a move that is not only significant for the two teams involved but also for the entire NFC, and perhaps the NFL as a whole. With this trade, the Cowboys have placed themselves in the conversation of the league's top contenders, but the stakes are high and the risks are significant. For Green Bay, this represents a new beginning, a chance to turn the page after more than a decade of Rodgers' reign under center. The ramifications of this deal extend far beyond just Dallas and Green Bay. It could change the balance of power in the NFC for the foreseeable future. At the heart of this trade is Dak Prescott, a player who has been the face of the Dallas Cowboys since being drafted in the 4th round in 2016. Dak came into the league as a relative unknown, thrust into a starting role early in his career due to injury, and he immediately exceeded expectations. Over the years, Dak has proven himself to be a capable, if not exceptional, quarterback. He's been incredibly durable, leading the Cowboys to multiple playoff appearances, putting up solid numbers year in and year out, and becoming a leader on and off the field. But for all his regular season success, there has always been a lingering question about Dak's ability to deliver when it matters most. His postseason record has been a subject of criticism, and while some of that can be chalked up to circumstances beyond his control, it's hard to ignore the fact that the Cowboys have consistently underperformed in the playoffs. Despite all the talent around him, Dak has yet to lead the Cowboys to the Super Bowl, and that's where the pressure started to mount. Dallas fans have been waiting for years for the team to break through and win a championship, but it became increasingly apparent that Dak might not be the quarterback to take them there. This has been the cloud hanging over his career in Dallas, no matter how many passing yards or touchdowns he accumulated during the regular season. Enter Aaron Rodgers, who has long been one of the most gifted quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen. He's been the face of the Green Bay Packers for over 15 seasons, leading the team to numerous playoff appearances, winning 4 MVP awards, and most importantly, capturing a Super Bowl title. But as the years went on, Rodgers began to feel like the Packers were no longer a team that could contend for championships. His frustrations with management and the lack of consistent success in the postseason led to rumblings that he might be ready for a change. The Packers, after all, had started to build a team without Rodgers in mind. They drafted his replacement, Jordan Love, and started to transition toward a future without the future Hall of Famer under center. With Rodgers now in the twilight of his career, Green Bay decided it was time to move on, and in doing so, they traded him to the Cowboys. For Rodgers, this represents a second chance at glory, an opportunity to show that he still has plenty left in the tank and that he can lead a team back to the Super Bowl, this time with a different franchise. For the Cowboys, this is a bold statement. They have made it clear that they are all in on winning now, and they believe Rodgers is the quarterback who can get them over the top. The move to acquire Rodgers is a win-now approach for the Cowboys. There's no question that Rodgers, at 41 years old, is closer to the end of his career than the beginning. However, even in the latter stages of his career, Rodgers remains one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league. He has the ability to make every throw, and his deep ball is still one of the best in the game. His experience in high-pressure situations is invaluable, and he has the kind of leadership qualities that can elevate those around him. The Cowboys have a roster that is built for a Super Bowl run. They have one of the league's most explosive offenses, led by young stars like CeeDee Lamb and a solid supporting cast of wide receivers like Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks. The Cowboys also have a top-tier offensive line and a dynamic running game featuring Tony Pollard. What they've lacked is consistent quarterback play in the biggest moments. Dak Prescott, for all his talent, has struggled to deliver in crunch time, especially in the postseason. Aaron Rodgers, however, is the kind of quarterback who can thrive in those moments. If healthy, Rodgers has the ability to elevate the Cowboys' offense to another level. His experience in big games could be exactly what the Cowboys need to break their Super Bowl drought, and in this move, Jerry Jones is betting everything on that possibility. However, this move is not without its risks. Rodgers may still be playing at a high level, but the reality is that he is 41 years old. In the NFL, that's ancient by quarterback standards, and while Rodgers has proven he can still compete at an elite level, there's no guarantee that will continue. He's coming off a season with the Packers in which he struggled with injuries and didn't look quite like the Rodgers of old. There's also the fact that Rodgers has a history of playoff disappointment in recent years, including a series of early exits with the Packers. The Cowboys are gambling on the hope that Rodgers can stay healthy and play at a high level for at least a couple of years. If Rodgers falters, or if injuries catch up to him, this trade could quickly turn into a disaster for the Cowboys. They're essentially trading away their future for a win-now mentality, and if that doesn't pay off with a Super Bowl victory in the next couple of years, the consequences could be dire. They'll be left with nothing but an aging quarterback and an uncertain future at the most important position in football. For the Green Bay Packers, this trade signals the start of a new era. While they have a proven winner in Aaron Rodgers, they've been preparing for life without him for the past few years. They've invested in young talent, and now they get the opportunity to see what Dak Prescott can do with a fresh start. Prescott, at 30 years old, is in the prime of his career, and he has shown over the years that he has the ability to be a top-tier quarterback. He's not without his flaws. Of course, his inconsistent play in the postseason has been well documented, but he's also shown the ability to lead a team, put up big numbers, and perform when it matters in the regular season. The Packers, after years of relying on Rodgers, are now looking toward the future, and Dak Prescott represents their best chance to stay competitive while building for the long term. They still have a solid roster in place, with a strong offensive line, a budding star in Christian Watson, and a top-tier running back in Aaron Jones. With Dak Prescott under center, the Packers could still be a playoff contender, and depending on how he adapts to their system, they might even be able to compete for a Super Bowl in the near future. This trade has enormous implications for the entire NFC. The Cowboys, with Rodgers now under center, are instantly one of the top teams in the conference, if not the league. They have one of the most well-rounded rosters in the NFL, and with a proven, Super Bowl-winning quarterback like Rodgers leading the charge, they should be able to compete with anyone. The NFC East, long considered one of the more competitive divisions, has just gotten even more interesting, as the Cowboys will now be fighting for supremacy with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are coming off a Super Bowl appearance themselves. Meanwhile, the Packers, although in rebuilding mode, will be looking to stay relevant in a rapidly changing NFC North. Their division rivals, the Minnesota Vikings and Detroit Lions, have also made moves to improve, so Dak Prescott will need to prove that he can handle the pressure and help Green Bay maintain its competitiveness in a tough division. This trade has certainly changed the trajectory of both franchises. The Cowboys are all in on winning now, and the Packers are looking to move forward with a new face under center. It's a high-risk, high-reward move for both teams, and only time will tell if it pays off. The 2025 NFL season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and this trade has only added fuel to the fire. Fans will be watching intently to see if Aaron Rodgers can bring a Super Bowl back to Dallas or if Dak Prescott can prove that he's the answer for the Packers in the post-Rodgers era. The implications of this trade will be felt for years to come, and it's clear that the NFL landscape has shifted in a major way. This move is a reminder that in the NFL, everything can change in an instant, and the stakes are always incredibly high.